Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about a direct permanent residency path to the United States that you can get from anywhere in the world if you have education and at least 5 years of progressive experience in your field. Now, this is an educational video, not legal advice, because small facts about your specific situation can change strategy. So, today I'm going to cover what this visa is, why it exists, and then everything that you need to know about the logic behind this process. So, let's get started. Now, there are many types of immigrant and non-immigrant visas that you can get to come to the United States. Today, we're going to specifically talk about an immigrant visa type called EB-2 NIW. So let's start with the bigger picture. There are two layers here. There is EB-2 and there is NIW that sits on top of EB-2. Now, EB-2 is the underlying immigrant category. This is the foundation, okay? You need to first qualify for the EB-2 itself before you can jump to the NIW level. Now, what EB-2 actually is? USCIS recognizes EB-2 for two types of people. A, members of professions or professionals holding an advanced degree. And B, persons of exceptional ability in the sciences, arts, or business. Now let's go with the first track, A, advanced degree. What is an advanced degree? Advanced degree is master's and above. Anything above bachelor. So if you have master's degree, then you have advanced degree. USCIS says that you can show that you have advanced degree by two ways. Either actually having an advanced degree in US or outside US, it doesn't matter where you got it. Or second, if you have bachelor's degree plus at least 5 years of experience in your field, in your specialty. Very simple. And then the B, which is the exceptional ability track. Now, USCIS describes this as a degree of expertise significantly above that ordinarily encountered in the sciences, arts, or business. Now, let's go again. A degree of expertise significantly above that ordinarily encountered. Basically, if you have a level of expertise, level of competence in your field that is way higher, way above what's ordinary in your field, if you're much better at what you do than what's ordinary in your field, then you can qualify for this. Okay? Now, generally, in order for you to get to this level of expertise, you'll first need to get education and years of experience. So if you have bachelor's degree and at least 5 years of experience in your field, in your specialty, then you can qualify for EB-2 itself. Now, the second layer is NIW, which stands for National Interest Waiver. Keyword, national interest. Now, for you to properly understand what NIW is and why it's there, you'll first need to understand what EB-2 requires without NIW exception. Generally, employment-based type of permanent residencies like EB-2 require for you to have a permanent job offer and also a labor certification. I'll explain this in separate videos in much more detail, but basically, you need to have a permanent job offer, not a 6-month contract or a year contract, and also a permanent labor certification, which is a whole process that's not done by you, that's done by the US company, where US government is basically verifying that by the company hiring you is not going to harm any other US worker or the job market. Now, this can be interpreted in different ways, but for example, if they hire you instead of an American worker, and you come here, you work for twice less income, and you're twice happier because of your country's economy, then it obviously creates a problem. It's going to affect other wages. Or another example, if there is a US candidate that is qualified for that job, they need to hire them first, because if they hire you, you're going to come here and take their position and directly impact their income and therefore their family's income. So it's really there to protect the US worker and the US market. Now, this process generally takes years to complete. It's completely out of your control. You have zero control. It's fully dependent on the company, on the US employer, and it may fall through at any moment. You may wait for 2 years, and then the company may find another candidate to hire, and then oops, you've wasted all this time, potentially money, nerves, and you didn't even start your visa process to then qualify for the visa. So it's definitely not ideal. And this is where NIW comes. NIW has 3 parts, which is a matter of Dhanasar. This is the heart of NIW. And let's imagine that this heart has 3 parts. The first part says that the proposed endeavor, needs to have both substantial merit and national importance. Now let's go again. The proposed endeavor, which is your work, your proposed work, the planned work in the United States, needs to have substantial merit and national importance. What are these? So substantial merit is about the value of the work itself. Is your work going to be valuable? It can be valuable economically, scientifically, health-related, education-wise, or otherwise important. It doesn't need to be in a specific niche, but it needs to be valuable. It needs to matter in a serious way, in a meaningful way. Not if this is impressive, not if this is trendy or cool, but is it actually valuable? It's about the real-world value, not prestige. If your work stopped tomorrow, disappeared tomorrow, would something important be lost or stopped working? If the answer is yes, then it probably is valuable. And also your work, your planned work needs to have national or needs to show national importance. This basically means that your work shouldn't be limited to one person, one client here, basically locally. So for example, if you go and work as an assistant for a multi-million-dollar CEO, you provide great services. You save him time, you save him incredible amount of money, you save him headache. It is valuable, but it's limited only to that one person, to that one place, okay? But if your work was valuable to more than one people, it was generally valuable, it was broader, it had broader impact to people, to companies, then it can be considered as nationally important. Second part of the heart is about you. Are you well positioned to advance this proposed endeavor? Keyword well positioned. Basically, are you credible enough to do what you're saying you're going to do in the United States? Here, the USCIS is trying to understand if your planned work is more than just a speculation. Have you done what you're saying you've done? So they're going to look at your history of work, your education, training, any past achievements, client results, career or business traction, any licenses, publications, recognitions, anything that could be relevant here, and your coherent plan of how you're going to continue this work, this endeavor. Okay? Now, you don't need to have every single license, every single certification in this world. If you have education, if you have relevant work history that's documented, meaning you've worked officially, you have documents proving that you worked there, you haven't just worked for Uncle Fernando under the table, even though it may be very valuable, you have documents proving that you worked, and also you have little licenses, certifications, anything that can help, this will be valuable. Basically to prove that you are credible. Now, the third part of the heart is why should the United States still waive the normal job requirement and labor certification process? Here, United States is trying to make a balancing judgment. Should they still skip this process? Is it going to be beneficial to them to skip this process and not put in a box of one employer, one offer? Now, here we're going to try to prove that by doing that, it's going to limit the value of your work, and therefore it's going to hurt their own interest, their own national interest. So if they put you in that box, it's going to hurt their own interest. So it's going to be much better if they give you more flexibility instead of giving you this process and having you to wait for 3 years, go through this unpredictable process. You may think, I don't know if my work is valuable for more than one person, for many people. Hold up. Do not make any judgments, okay, after watching 10-minute video. Because it may be wrong, and like I mentioned in the video, in the beginning of the video, small facts about your specific situation can change strategy. So instead, do not make any judgments and just learn, okay? Now, any information beyond this point about the process, how long this process takes, what documentations are needed, and then anything else are all situational, okay? I can't give you one specific scenario and tell, hey, this works for most people. So that's why I put the link down below in this video. Go ahead, book your own consultation where we're going to do a deep dive in your situation and learn as much as possible by yourself in detail. And then based on all of that information, we're going to give the specific way how this is going to work for you personally. I hope this video was valuable, and I'll see you on the other side.